The recently surfaced leaks and physical case molds are painting an interesting picture of what Apple has planned for the iPhone 18 Pro series. At first glance, things might look quite familiar, because the overall shape and form factor of both the 6.3-inch iPhone 18 Pro and the larger 6.9-inch iPhone 18 Pro Max appear to follow a very similar design language to what we have already seen in previous generations. The MagSafe ring placement also seems to be positioned in a nearly identical location, which might give many users the impression that their existing accessories and cases will continue to work just fine. However, the reality is quite different, and those tiny millimeter-level adjustments in areas like body thickness, side button placement, and the overall camera housing dimensions are enough to make iPhone 17 Pro cases completely incompatible with the new models. So even though the two generations will look almost identical side by side, the practical accessory situation will essentially reset for buyers upgrading from the previous lineup. What makes this even more noticeable is the expected size and weight increase, particularly for the Pro Max variant. Reports suggest that the thickness could go from 8.75 meters up to around 8.8 meter, which sounds like a negligible change on paper, but can actually make a real difference when it comes to how the phone feels in hand and how third-party cases and grips are designed around it. Beyond that, the weight situation is also drawing attention, with some reports indicating that the iPhone 18 Pro Max could push past 240 grams, which would effectively make it the heaviest iPhone Apple has released in recent memory. This suggests that Apple is clearly prioritizing internal upgrades, larger components, and better hardware over keeping the device slim and lightweight, which is a trade-off that power users might actually welcome. When it comes to the camera system, that is arguably where the most dramatic changes are expected to take place. The leaked case cutouts are showing a noticeably oversized camera plateau at the back, which strongly hints that Apple is going even bigger with the rear camera module this time around. And this does not appear to be just a cosmetic or marketing decision, because the hardware improvements being rumored behind that larger bump are genuinely significant. The main camera is expected to feature a 48-megapixel sensor paired with a variable aperture system, which is a feature that allows the lens opening to physically adjust depending on the lighting environment and shooting scenario. In practical terms, this means the camera will be able to handle bright outdoor scenes and challenging low-light situations with far greater flexibility and control than a fixed aperture system would allow. The sensor size is also expected to grow, potentially reaching around 1.12 inches, which is a meaningful jump that would allow the camera to capture more light per frame and ultimately deliver better dynamic range, richer colors, improved detail retention, and more natural background separation. Taken together, these camera upgrades suggest that Apple is pushing toward a more versatile and optically capable main shooter, though the trade-off is clearly a larger and more prominent camera island on the back of the phone, which will divide opinion among those who prefer a cleaner and more minimal rear design. On the performance front, Apple is not expected to simply drop in a faster version of its existing chip architecture and call it a day. The iPhone 18 lineup is rumored to feature an A20 class chip that comes with a genuinely new internal packaging approach described as a wafer-level multi-chip module design. What this essentially means is that the RAM will be physically integrated much closer to the CPU, GPU, and neural engine on the chip package itself, rather than sitting at a greater distance as in conventional designs. The practical benefits of this kind of integration include meaningfully reduced latency, better energy efficiency, and faster communication between the different processing cores. In plain terms, everything from app loading and multitasking to on-device AI processing should feel noticeably snappier and more fluid. This hardware evolution also ties directly into the RAM upgrade that is being widely rumored, with reports pointing toward 12 gigabytes of RAM across the iPhone 18 family. That would be a significant step up compared to current configurations, and Apple appears to be targeting this extra memory specifically at handling more advanced artificial intelligence workloads, enabling a smarter and more capable version of Siri, and supporting heavier computational tasks like real-time video processing, enhanced photography features, and future software capabilities that have not even been announced yet. The message here is clear. Apple is building infrastructure for a more intelligent iPhone experience rather than simply chasing raw benchmark numbers. The battery situation is also shaping up to be notably better this generation. The internal layout changes and the slightly larger body are expected to free up meaningful extra space for a bigger cell, and current rumors are pointing toward a battery capacity somewhere in the range of 5,100 to 5,200 milliamp hours for the Pro Max model. That would represent a genuine and substantial increase compared to what current iPhone Pro Max devices are packing. And it could translate into real-world gains across a wide range of use cases, including all-day heavy usage, extended video streaming, 5G browsing, and intensive gaming sessions. When you combine a larger battery with the improved power efficiency of the new A20 chip and the optimized modem that is also expected to arrive this generation, the overall battery life story for the iPhone 18 Pro Max could actually be one of the most compelling reasons to upgrade, assuming everything performs as hoped. Of course, this does come with the caveat that the phone will be heavier and slightly thicker as a result. But for users who have long complained about running out of battery by late afternoon, the trade-off might be more than acceptable. Connectivity improvements are also a meaningful part of the iPhone 18 story. A next-generation C2 modem is widely anticipated, and this new chip is expected to bring better overall reception quality, smoother transitions between different network bands, and meaningfully improved power efficiency when connected to 5G networks. In real-world scenarios, this could mean more stable calls in areas with weaker signal, faster and more consistent data speeds during commutes or travel, and a reduction in the battery drain that 5G connectivity currently tends to cause. Beyond the standard modem improvements, Apple is also rumored to be expanding its satellite communication capabilities in a significant way. While current iPhones already support satellite-based emergency messaging, the new generation could potentially take things further by enabling full satellite calling, allowing users to make actual voice calls even when they are completely outside of cellular coverage. If this feature arrives and works as described, it would represent a major functional upgrade that goes well beyond a marketing gimmick, offering genuine utility for users in remote areas, outdoor adventurers, emergency responders, and anyone who regularly travels to regions where reliable cellular infrastructure simply does not exist. Finally, the launch strategy itself could look quite different from what Apple fans are accustomed to. Rather than releasing the entire iPhone 18 lineup at once during a single fall event, reports are suggesting that Apple may shift to a split launch approach. Under this plan, the premium tier of the lineup, which includes the iPhone 18 Pro, the iPhone 18 Pro Max, and potentially a brand new foldable iPhone from Apple, would debut in fall 2026. The standard iPhone 18 models, along with a more affordable and cost-optimized variant, would then follow sometime in early 2027. If Apple genuinely goes through with this kind of staggered release calendar, it would mark one of the more significant departures from the company's established launch tradition. And it would have noticeable implications for everything from consumer buying decisions and carrier promotions to third-party accessory timelines and competitor responses. Putting it all together, the iPhone 18 Pro series is shaping up to be a generation that plays it safe on the outside while making bold moves on the inside. With a familiar silhouette housing a substantially upgraded camera platform, a more intelligent and efficient chip, more RAM, a bigger battery, stronger connectivity options, and potentially even satellite calling. All of which point toward Apple building a device that is not just incrementally better, but meaningfully more capable across the board.